wanted to give you guys a portfolio update. I'll be doing these weekly, and I'll also be including some news and just some general investment tips that I learned along the way. I primarily just want to document myself and my journey, starting with, about $5,000 and ending with hopefully a couple 100,000. So I just wanted to start off by saying I have sold 5 shares of my CenterPoint Energy stock. I made, I think, about $10 on it. Right now, my total return is only $1. The stock has been going down recently, um, but I'm going to hold on to it. I think it's going to go back up, and I think I can make more money out of it than just this $1 that I have right now. And I wanted to mention AbbVie. Um, I'll get into AbbVie in a little bit. I also wanted to talk about when should you buy? When should you invest in the stock market? I get a lot of people saying, um, I'm going to go ahead and wait. I'm going to wait to invest until the market hits a recession. I'm going to wait to invest until the market dips. And no one knows when that's going to be. We've had a bull market for the past um, 9, 10 years now, one of the longest ever. And people wait and say, December, this last December, as you know, I can show you right here. This last December, the stock market took a hit. It's right here on mine. Uh, and it went down to, I think it went down 19%. And that's still technically a correction and not a recession. So a lot of people didn't uh, pull the trigger and invest in that time because it was still just a correction, and you would have missed, over 50% return if you would have invested in December. So how I like to invest is over a period of time, and I'm going to go ahead and use this just the S&P 500 to illustrate my point. Um, so let's say that you just invest and you're just investing regularly. Let's just say once a week. You invest $100 once a week. Well, at some weeks are going to be really low, right? You're going to be down here. Some weeks are going to be really high. You'll be at a tip, but overall, you'll be average. You'll be on the trend of this graph. You'll be trend lining, right? If you just try and hit the dips or whatever, you have a chance of thinking that there's a dip coming and buying right here, and then it just falling like this, right? So the best strategy on when to invest is just regularly, over a scheduled amount of time. Just $100 a week, $200 a week. Don't just immediately put in $10,000 at one point in time. It's just not a logical thing to do. You could put 10,000 in at a point and just see, you know, almost $1,000 or so just vanish within a couple days. That's not what you want to see. So you want to do $250 a week. If you really have a lot of money. If you don't, then just $50 a week, whatever. But you'll be on that average trend line, and you won't see a lot of your uh, investments like just drop and disappear. I know it's really hard to see that, and this is something that a lot of people never told me in the beginning, because I just immediately put in, $2,000, $3,000. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that was what I had, and I put it all in at one point in time, and then eventually, it just dropped right back down, and it took a while for me to get my money back out, and I was scared of investing. I didn't want to invest anymore. So the best way to do this is just by investing over a long period of time. Now let's go ahead and look at AbbVie. Okay, so AbbVie, I show you in my Robinhood, has been just on fire lately. It's one of my favorite stocks I've seen recently. It's up 13% this past month. My gain on it is 20%. I've gained $50. The dividends for AbbVie is still 4.28%. That's still quite a bit for a healthcare company. Um, Here's their all-time graph, right? So their dividend growth looks stable. It looks good. No complaints from me here. It looks solid. But their dividend yield looks fairly cheap in recent years, and that's because people are scared because AbbVie's main product is Humira, and Humira's trademark runs out very soon. But AbbVie also created Allergan, and Allergan has been just on fire with sales, and that's why the stock price is going to drop. And I can see that, or the stock price has begun to rise. Sorry, this has begun to drop. The dividend yield drops, the stock price rises, right? So I think that this is going to go back down to probably maybe 4% or maybe even 3.5%, which is about average for a healthcare industry. So I think this stock has at least $20 more to go per share until we see the numbers that I'm expecting. So AbbVie is one of those stocks that I'd say if you're not in it, get in it soon, because we can ride this train all the way up. And I want to show you M1 Finance. I haven't made much changes here. And this is specifically set up to avoid losses during a recession or during a correction. Real estate, bonds, these funds that just track the market, healthcare, energy. Energy is primarily utilities, telecom. These are all things that have a decent yield and resist recessions, right? Everyone's gonna still have a phone. Everyone's still gonna use energy. Everyone's still gonna need healthcare. You know, everyone still have to pay rent. These are just things that people are still gonna have to do. You know, it's bills of everyday life, right? That's why travel and tech and industrials, they're lower because they're not as needed during a recession, right? There's not as much business going on. So that's the main setup of this portfolio and why it's set up the way it is. Because I view this as just, I'm just going to keep growing this number, and the bigger it gets, the more excited it gets. With Robinhood, that's not necessarily my goal, as I mentioned in previous videos. I will probably cap this account at around 15,000 or so. I won't put any more after 15,000. I'll just play around with the 15,000. I'll put the rest into M1 Finance and just see this number to grow. Just see this number keep growing. Wanted to show you earned dividends is already at 9.55, and I've only had this for 2 months now. Last month it was below, I think, $2 because it's rare to get paid on the same month. So I can just see this dividend yield going straight up, and I'll share my dividend chart with you guys here in the next video, because currently the account statements haven't gone out yet for either M1 or Robinhood. So yeah, that's my main method of investing, on when to invest. Don't try and time the market. Warren Buffett always says it's not timing the market, it's time in the market, and that's absolutely true. So just invest regularly over a set period of time. Don't put all your money in at once, because it's likely to go down after you do that, and it's really hard to see your money just, you to start just losing money, a lot of money all at once. It's much easier to see you just losing the gains that you already had on previous money that you put in, right? Getting started is the hardest part. So I hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.